And, you know, it was this like ideological battle as much as it was a public health crisis.
Censorship was bad. It was very bad.
Real bad.
But I'll tell you what made me think people were going to go into the street with pitchforks was when the government told everybody stay at home. That wasn't hidden. That wasn't behind the scenes, the stuff you're talking about. They said, stay in your house. They didn't say, we recommend you stay in your houses.
Right.
They didn't say, we recommend you get this vaccine. We don't recommend you wear this mask. They said, stay in your house. When they had that first order came down, I was like, people are just going to be outraged. People are going to protest. And when they didn't, that's what dismayed me personally. And I'll tell you why. Okay? Because when you think about civil and individual rights, First Amendment, the right to free speech, the assembly, right? That was passed and adopted by the states in 1791. What's the First Amendment intended to do? It's restrict government from infringing on those rights. You think life was easy in 1791? What do you think life was like in 1791? You think it was easy? I think it was all hunky-dory. Life in 1791 was brutal. Brutal. You want to talk about disease, pestilence, famine, war? You want to talk about a life that is no electricity, no running water, no sewage, nothing. And that amendment was passed for times that are more brutal than that. And here comes a virus. And every right you have is basically taken away. And Americans are like, take it. Take it away. That is what outraged me because look, what was the whole point of this country? What is America born out of? In my view, it's born out of the idea that every other government that preceded it got it wrong in the following sense. Your life should not be dictated by a king or a dictator or a politburo or a central authority. It's the idea that you are born with inalienable rights. You should be able to choose your destiny, including what risks you want to take. Individual rights come with risks. Letting Joe Rogan say what he wants on this podcast comes with risks. Letting you practice what religion you want, assemble with who you want, especially in Austin. Very interesting time yesterday. That comes with risks, let me tell you. A lot of risks, okay? But the greater risk is always ceding that right to the government, because once you do, you don't get it back often. And so, yes, there was that hidden stuff you talk about, and that was bad. Don't get me wrong, that was bad stuff. That's really, really bad. But the stuff they did in the open, to me, in some ways, was even worse. And I hope that there's a lesson that folks learn from that, because let me tell you something. Even if you love every vaccine out there, you listen to this, you love every vaccine, you love every mask, right? Great. I support every American's right. You're 17, you're 18, you're totally healthy, no comorbidities, and you want to get a vaccine a day, wear 70 masks, and live in your basement in a self-imposed stay-at-home order. This is America. I support your right to do. I'll fight for your right to do that. And you're 90 and you're a war veteran and you want to go to and you have 16 comorbidities and you want to go to the coffee shop with no vaccine and no mask, you should be free to do that, because that's America too. That's freedom also.
Just like you can bull ride.
And if you don't stand up for that right now, the day comes when there's something, a medical product you don't want, the government says you have to get, because trust me, it is so much cheaper to lobby to get a medical product required than it is to market to get people to get it. Oh, they've learned that lesson. That's why there's so much lobbying to get mandates, get rid of exemptions across the country that you don't want, and you can't get a job, and you can't go to school, and you can't leave your house. Then what good are the rest of your rights? They're useless. That's why medical liberty truly is a fundamental right. I'm off my high horse.
No, it's a great high horse. That was an awesome rant. You're absolutely 100% on the money.